I'm Tommy. I'm from here, and I'm a friend of Danny.
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel. I'm the executive director and co-founder with all of UMI.
I'm Jonathan.
He's one of our teachers of meditation and also a good, really good basketball player. Okay. So,
And then Ben, that's Ben Waglars.
oh yeah, Ben.
And then likewise.
So, especially for the sake of you who've never been in this room before, just to give you an idea of what all of these symbols mean and stuff like that, right? So the meditation that we do, we use sort of three tools to transcend. So we're going from this conscious thinking level to the subconscious and down in a state of surrender into pure thought or pure consciousness beyond thought, right? And those three tools, as I said, is breath and articulation of a sound, and then internalization of the sound. So at UMI we teach two types of meditation. The first, and sort of the cornerstone of our practice, we like to call mindlessness meditation. So you've probably heard a lot, what's very popular these days is mindfulness meditation. And we do that, teach that as well. What we're doing today is a mindlessness meditation. So what we're basically doing is just opening a door inward. And we go into a state of surrender. So we're not trying or forcing anything. We're doing this in a very gentle, effortless way. But we use our breath to guide us, and then we use the sound vibration, and then internalization of that sound. And I'll guide us through that. But those sounds are one of 22 Hebrew letters in the Hebrew alphabet. So they're ancient letters, and that's what you see on this wall. The way they look is really not important, or even what they mean at this particular, I say it's not important, I don't mean that generally, I mean to our mindlessness meditation, right? Because we're just using the sound vibration to surrender to this sound. So there's 22 of them, and they're, the way they look, the way they're written or scribed is you can see on the walls and that big stained glass up there. So each one of these letters at UMI, I've been trained to, and I've trained teachers to, be able to choose letters that are appropriate for the nature of who you are after interviewing you, getting to know you, and so forth. But almost all of the letters will work for anybody to a certain degree. But if you meditate with us and you have not been initiated into the UMI practice, I'm happy to do that. It's tuition free. And it's but basically a 5-step process. But for today, we'll use the first letter, the biggest letter up there. If you have not been initiated, if you have, use your letter you've been initiated into, which is just simply Aleph. So if you were to spell that letter in English, I guess you would spell it A-L-E-P-H, right? So we'll just use that today as a substitute for what might be your letter. And that looks like it does up in the white in that stained glass. So that's what we call a mother letter, or the first of all of the letters. So we use this sound vibration to allow our minds to go from the conscious thinking level to the subconscious and eventually transcend thought, transcend the letter altogether. We don't say it the way I say it because we're all an instrument of these sounds, right? So when we say it, the books, the teachers, the Kabbalists, the masters say, we say it soft and long. So it wouldn't be like Aleph, 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 like that. We say Aleph. Just soft and easy and gentle, right? Like that. So in this tradition, which is very similar to the Vedic traditions, right? So this is what we call a Semitic tradition from the Middle East. The Vedic traditions are from the Far East. The goal is union. That's what yoga means from the Far East, from the Vedic tradition. Yoga actually means union. So union with what? Well, union with that divine consciousness, that unbounded consciousness within us, and then within each other and all around us in nature. So we're all on the conscious thinking level right now. If you're new to this, you're thinking, what the heck is he talking about? What are these letters? What, all these thoughts, right? We let go of those thoughts. It's sort of like going to hear an orchestra in Denver. We get all uptight in the traffic, we're going to be late, we can't find a parking space, right? And finally we get to the orchestra and we're in our seat. And when we first begin listening, it's sort of like still stressful. But then at some point, boom, we're just listening and it's beautiful. And that's the way this will be, okay? So for right now, all this information is not terribly important. We do have a live stream because I have students in other places. And usually when we do this the last Sunday of each month, I talk a little bit about the energy of that month. So you can see these letters relate to different things. And on the pictures, they're relating to stars and planets like that, right? And also the word under them is a month in the lunar calendar, okay? So basically the idea is simply this. There's this transcendent, pure consciousness that becomes creation and formation like that, right? And as all that flow of consciousness becomes who we are and nature all around us, it becomes so in an orderly fashion. And this consciousness, in orderly fashion, unlocks these sort of doors of consciousness within us and around us in a very discrete way. So as this is all happening in a discrete way, there are energies that are related to certain parts of our brain, certain parts of our body, certain months of the year, certain constellations and planets, according to this tradition. So this particular month is the end of the month of this, in the Hebrew calendar it's called Sivan, this lunar calendar. And we're now going to enter the next month, this week, of the month of Tammuz, right? So the letters associate energy, vibrations associated with those months. And they're up there somewhere. Sivan, right, is a Zayin, and Tammuz is Chet. Not important to you if you've just heard this for the first time. But what we're saying is, as this pure consciousness is becoming, through natural law, all that we see around us, it's becoming so in an orderly fashion. And these letter energies open up consciousness within us in different parts of our bodies. So the months, the whole year, each year is sort of like a rebirth and an opportunity for higher consciousness, right? So we begin the year just like we're being born. And this year, complicated, but it starts with the month of Nisan, which is springtime, right? So spring comes and we see a natural rebirth. And what happens as we're babies into this higher state of consciousness, our senses become aware, just like a baby would. And now we can see things a little differently. We're in a higher state of consciousness, we're meditating every day, and we experience this newness of spring in a new way. And these masters, enlightened masters, pass these things down through the generations, tell us, okay, so we have now the sense of sight and inward vision, the sense of hearing. All of these are related as the springtime becomes summer. And then the depth of the summer as the months roll on, and then we have fall. They're all related energies. So now we're moving pretty much right into summer, the month of Sivan and the month of Tammuz. And in our tradition, it says this is great opportunity. Now we've been born, our senses are coming alive, and we're having motion and interaction with life all around us and each other. So there's great opportunities in these months that we're going into, from June, July-ish, like that, right? And as there's great opportunities, there's also vulnerabilities and potential for failure. When there's potential for greatness, there's always potential for problems, right? So we have vulnerability in this time as well. So if you go back to these instructions, go back to the Torah that we probably are all familiar with, is in the month of Sivan, Moses goes up on the mountain, and we have this sort of great experience of the Torah being given to Moses, these ways that tell us we should love each other and we shouldn't steal from each other and all these beautiful things, right? And then, but also, we have the golden calf. So in these months, we have the opportunity for great things. So we just are mindful of staying on our meditation practice, practicing the golden rule, and all of these wonderful opportunities come to us. Specifically, for those who are familiar with the Hebrew alphabet and meditating UMI for a while, Zayin in the month of Sivan is sort of like a sword that cuts away illusion. So one of the things that keeps us from experiencing this pure consciousness within ourselves is what we call illusion. In the Far East they call Maya, right? If you've heard of that. It keeps us from this yoga, from this union. And the Zayin in this month, we have a great opportunity with that energy to peel away that skin of illusion. And then we move into the month of Tammuz. The letter Chet is life. It's about life. But it's important to take that letter Chet and make it like, you see the way it looks over there in Tammuz, it's enclosed except for the bottom. But when we take the Zayin and we take that energy and we deal with it and we're open to new things and each other, it begins to look more like the letter Hey, which is in the first month where there's an opening. The idea is that we're open to each other. And we let go of the illusions that cause harsh judgment and rigidity. Instead, we love each other and we practice mindfulness with each other and we support and uplift each other. And that allows that life that's represented by the Chet to experience that great opportunity of union. So this is all about union, within and without, and that's why we're called the Unifying Meditation Institute. So that was way longer than it should have been, but I was trying to cover all the bases that I could. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually meditate, where all of that stuff I just said really doesn't matter. So we're going to breathe, we're going to inhale through our nose, putting your tongue to the roof of the mouth slightly. We exhale, we release the tongue, and exhale through the mouth, like that. Inhale, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Exhale, release the tongue. Exhale through the mouth, like that. We do all this with our eyes closed, and I'll guide us through it. Then at some point, I'm going to say, let's say our letter. If you have not been initiated into the letter, then we'll say Aleph. And then at some point, I'm going to instruct you to just return to normal breathing and think the letter internally. We do this in a gentle and effortless way, in a state of surrender. Whatever comes, comes. Our thoughts are part of our meditation. A critical flaw with people in meditation is thinking that they have to get rid of their thoughts. We just observe them. They're a part of our meditation. Okay? So you may feel a lot of thoughts, you may feel no thoughts, doesn't matter, it's good. Okay? So we'll just be gentle and effortless about it. All right? Now, for the live streamers, you'll be guided through the meditation as well, but then Benjamin, our IT guy, is going to shut it off at some point. So you take 10, 15 minutes of meditation, then come out of meditation. Okay? So let's close our eyes.
Is there a blanket I could use?
I'm sorry?
Is there a blanket I could use? Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So let's close our eyes. Let's inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take a little longer between breaths. Let's inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, this time on the exhale we'll say our letter. Inhale. Say the 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 letter. Okay, let's return to normal breathing. And just gently and effortlessly begin to think the letter internally. Thoughts come and go, feelings may come and go. And then when we remember the letter, we just effortlessly return to it. We're meditating like this for about 10 or 15 minutes, but I'll keep track of the time and bring us out of our meditation.